Hey everyone, welcome back to another Locksmith business for sale. Is it a good deal? Maybe even the Lockfather will buy it. I don't know. We'll find out. Dad, thanks for coming back on.
Yeah, no problem.
So, we have our topos here. Our first one, we didn't have topos. So, I'm going to go and crack this open and... So the proper, so a little cheers here.
Cheers.
And so we're back and we have another Locksmith business for sale that we're going to be talking about today.
Okay.
Let me go over the ground rules really quick. Make sure you and I and all the watchers and listeners are on the same page here, and we'll get started here. So this is a real Locksmith business listing. However, we're keeping it anonymous, because that's a nice thing to do.
Yeah, we're not picking on anybody.
Yeah, we're not here to pick on anybody. But we want to really get onto the nuance and the fun of the listings and talk about them. Right. So if you happen to be watching this and we end up going over your business, just so you know, hey, we're keeping it anonymous. But also, we're not trying to pick on you at all. We're just having some fun with some entertainment value.
Because everybody has their own opinion.
Everyone has their own opinion, right? Here we go. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right, so let me go read you the business description here. So, unique opportunity to acquire a mobile locksmith. The current owners have been doing it since 2008. Okay, it seems like they bought the business. The company offers residential and commercial services, including several property management companies, and they deal with a variety of locksmith-related tasks on a daily basis. The business has good paying customers, and the current owner works 35 hours a week, but there's room for growth. The sale of the business includes a fully equipped van along with inventory, and the sellers will provide the buyer with 2 weeks training, and there's no license in this state.
Okay.
So included into the asking price is the inventory, although I do not see like a specific number for that. However, there is a fully equipped vehicle with $60,000 worth of inventory. It's a mobile only. You can put hours into expanding the business. They're retiring, which is why they are selling. Mm-hmm. Gross revenue is $89,000.
Okay.
Fixtures, which is, it's kind of weird on this one how they list it, but yeah, fixtures in this case is probably like computers and that sort of thing. A lot of times includes vehicles,
right.
But they obviously have that over with the van in a second here. So $15,000 there, and then inventory they list is $60,000, which includes the van, is what it said lower there. So let's just combine the two of those, $75,000 total. The business cash flows $57,000. And can you guess the asking price?
$85,000.
Nope, you're thinking of the last deal kind of a little bit, aren't you? Yep. Yeah. No, so this one asking price is $119,000.
Okay.
So what are your initial thoughts, red flags, things that are popping up?
And they want how much for the equipment? And $40,000?
Well, it's included in the price, asking price.
Okay.
So there's $75,000 total, plus $57,000 of cash flow. So when you start doing the math, they're pretty much asking for 1 year of cash flow and all of the equipment combined is kind of what they're asking for. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, again, as I always bring up, I got to see everything, because did they list what equipment they had or what year van or anything?
Nope.
So it's hard to, if you don't list, have a minimal listing of what equipment and van it is with miles, because the van could be worth $40,000 if it's a new one.
Sure.
Or, older one with under 40,000 miles, it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
If it's more than that, it's not worth it.
Yep. Okay. Talk to us, like, what other stuff's popping out to you?
Well, they don't have equipment list. Even,
Yeah.
How much, again, if they got a Ventura or whatever code equipment to be able to do cut keys. For all you know, it could be just space and depth keys. You see, this is where it's important to lift what you got.
Yeah. But let's assume once again the inventory value with the van. Let's cut it in half and say 30. Okay. Mm-hmm. Just for the sake of removing your uncertainty and doubt here.
Okay, and then he wants, roughly another year of income,
which is 57,000,
right, and that's what we call blue sky.
Well, to you, okay,
yeah,
that's fair.
And everybody deserves some blue sky, but again, whenever you buy a business, you have to look. The personality says he has some property management companies.
Yep.
And
several property management companies.
Yeah, and what happens if they don't like your personality or the way you're doing the business compared to this other person?
Mm-hmm.
You have to consider all that.
Yes, you do.
Because we've bought companies and we've lost different things,
Yeah.
It's just a fact. The price isn't that much, but when you're trying to start a business, how much you have to put into a business to get it running. So that's why you want to look at established mobile unit,
Yeah.
So if you look at that, it's really not that bad of a price.
Yeah, I mean, a few things that pop right out to me immediately. As you know, I'm kind of a little more on the analytical number end of that.
And I'm more on the equipment and seeing stock and
well,
stuff.
I mean, so am I. But when you look at the gross revenue of essentially 84,000,
mm-hmm.
okay, and then their cash flow, which in this case, right, it can get a little complicated, but as I've talked about before, it's essentially going to be your net profit along with owner's salary. Right. My guessing a business of this size, how is it being ran? Maybe just as a DBA or a LL, maybe just a single party LLC or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're probably not my guess is they're not taking a wage and dividends. They're probably just the money that comes into the business is what they get, right? So when you see it at 84,000 and then cash flow of 57, they're definitely based on with property management companies, by far they're doing rekeys,
mm-hmm.
right? They're doing a lot of rekeys because that's wonderful cash flow based on that. So, I mean, if you happen to be watching this, fantastic job with that. 35 hours a week, bringing in $57,000 of free cash flow. I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's pretty good. To me, there's also some risks, right? And when I hear the big part of their business, is including several property management companies, that scares me.
Right.
Okay, because, I mean, as you know...
as I always say, you don't want to depend on one or two customers.
Well, I mean, if you think about all the years
mm-hmm.
of business, and back when I used to work for you, what did I do a lot of?
Property management.
Right. What else did I also try to do a lot of? Going talking to the ones that had used to do business with you.
Right.
But someone offered it cheaper or whatever, and they went somewhere else.
You send somebody out, the personality's doing work.
Yep, right. Those issues. And then the bigger issue is something I know you've lost some business to, which is the property management switching to the self-change locks. Right. And so what does it look like? So property management companies, now, if these are commercial, I'm assuming a lot of them are residential. Maybe they're commercial,
mm-hmm.
and that changes it a little bit, right?
Right.
But if they're residential, I'm a little scared.
Yeah.
Right?
Because the lock manufacturers always try to cut out the locksmiths to a degree where the customer can take care.
Well, I think it's one of those weird things, right? That like a manufacturer wants to make a product that is easily, I shouldn't say always, but they're trying to remove the rekeying issue. Right? I mean, that's what they're trying to do.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, removing that rekey issue essentially removes us.
Yep, right.
And it's a cold hard reality that
Absolutely.
I think all of us, I don't really know anyone who likes the smart key system that's in the lock and key industry and who doesn't kind of view them as junk.
Right.
Although the fun kind of opposite point to that is they're also a bear to pick, right? And normally back in the day we'd be like, oh, quick set locks or hunk of junk, you can pick those real easily. Well, that's not really the case anymore, right?
Exactly.
So it's kind of funny, but so that's the only big thing that kind of pops out to me. I think it's interesting, 35 hours a week. I'm kind of hearing you could do this part-time.
Yes.
With property management jobs, at least the ones that I've experienced doing, and I'm sure you too, is they typically aren't like, hey, our tenant just moved out, we need you here within the next 20 minutes.
Right.
It's like, hey, here's these, they email you 5 jobs, and they're like, we just need them done by next Friday. Right?
Yeah.
So it is a potential someone could have another job
And do this on the side.
and do that on the side.
Absolutely.
At the same time, it sounds like there's a lot of room to expand too.
Right.
It
does.
So if this business was within a few hours of here, are you a buyer here?
I try to get a little less, but yeah, I would.
Okay. How much money would you try to offer them? And then let's once again, we're looking at the total inventory van to us. We're viewing that value as at $30,000 total,
Right.
Not 75.
Right. So I'd probably offer him 80 to 85.
Okay. Okay.
That's just me.
Yeah.
Because you have to look at when you're buying a business, we always want it as least expensive as we can get it, but if it doesn't work out, you haven't lost all that either.
Sure. Yeah, I think it's of course, I think if you can pick up an existing business, this one's been going since 2008, that gives me a little confidence on if they're still getting...
It's been around.
Yeah, if they're still getting that residual revenue, I'd imagine you'd be able to work out and keep it going, right?
Yeah.
If you have some people skills and can start building relationships.
Right.
Once again, they want to do a 2-week.
Yeah, 2 weeks, never
it's
enough.
almost like... let's talk about this for a second, because it's hard, as both of us employ people, right? And when someone gives us a 2-week, which is the courtesy type thing to do, right? It is most of the time difficult to replace that person within 2 weeks, right?
It just doesn't happen.
And so I find it bizarre that these businesses are literally trying to quit their business
And walk away.
in 2 weeks.
Right.
I'm guessing it's very negotiable. Maybe you can get them to stick around for a month or two.
Well, you at least, like I say, just to learn to rekey locks, good. Because you don't run into every brand every day. The first brand, Quickset and Schlegg, you see a zillion of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that takes a day to learn and you're good to go. But it's all the Sargents, all the other ones.
Yeah.
So
of course, from your perspective, you're looking at the best deal possible.
I'm always looking at the best deal possible when I'm buying.
Yeah. So, I think once again, though, let's say if everything is true here within a couple hour drive,
Right.
If you're picking this business up for 80 to 100,000,
You're doing well.
you're going to get your money back.
Oh, absolutely.
Fairly quick.
Within the first couple of years.
First couple of years. The type of work it seems they're doing, just due to the profit margins, is mainly, I'm guessing, rekey labor or master key labor.
Right.
You should be able to train that fairly well. It's probably already on some sort of master key systems, maybe on the commercial stuff, right? Fairly easy to train. Seems like a lot of opportunity, and seems like a decent.
It does. It really does. For experienced guys, I'd pop that and get moving. Buy it and
absolutely.
But I'm always expanding. I'm always looking to expand.
Yeah.
Because that's the personality I got. It's not because I want more. It's because I want to be the dominant person in our area.
Yeah. So I think another interesting part. Let's say, let's pretend this business listing is in somewhere very warm all the time.
Okay.
And you live somewhere cold a lot of the time. And you're like, you know what? I'm going to go somewhere warm. And you find this listing and you're like, hey, I can go down there, work 35 hours a week, make close to 60,000, essentially on autopilot to some degree.
Yeah. No, that's what you want.
Yeah.
It's an excellent deal if you look at it.
If you look at it through that lens, right?
Right.
I would say in this case, it's probably, even at 120, it's probably going to cost you more to start a business, a locksmith business, and go find these customers.
Right. Because of the inventory he already has.
Yes.
You have to stock up there. You got to get a van, new or used, doesn't make a difference.
Yep.
You're still going to spend quite a bit of money.
Absolutely.
And then all the equipment.
Yep.
And then you go, oh, I don't have that. You got to, locksmithing, you're always buying something because it changes all the time.
Well, and we like cool tools and all the little fun stuff.
Right. But no, if you look at it in those terms, I'm in. Let's go.
Pete's already on his way. Wherever you are, Pete's So, yeah, really good.
Yeah, you just got to look at it overall. But mine is always the equipment, the year of the van, if it's just mobile.
Yeah.
Because if I ever sell, I'm not going to sell my commercial buildings because I want the revenue as retirement.
Sure.
But who knows if it's worth $100 or $1 million? You just don't know until you go to try to sell.
Yep.
Because we have lots of old inventory, and I buy a lot of old inventory just so we have it if it ever comes up.
Yeah, I mean, the hard reality when you sell something, it's not necessarily what you think it's worth.
Absolutely.
It's what the people who are willing to buy it think it is, right? And it's your job as the owner, the proprietor of that business, to build in as much value as you can for the other people to see.
Absolutely.
Right?
Because when you go to retire, you want some money if this is all you have to lean on.
Yep.
You can work your life.
Now, let's throw up one other quick little thing, and we'll call her good here. Which we didn't talk about in the last one, which is, let's say you came in at an $80,000 offer, and the person was like, you know what, I'll go down to 110 instead of 119, and I'll owner finance it over 5 years. Does that change?
I'd be in.
You'd be in, yep.
Yeah, because I'm not throwing all my cash in. Because my cash to operate the business.
Absolutely.
To build it the way I want.
Absolutely. So it's really at 110, 120.
Right.
Owner finance.
One of my friends up in a different area says, hey, I'm going back to California. Here's my van. This is what I want. You got 5 years to pay me and walk away. And that's what he did.
Yeah. I think the interesting part about owner finance is it can get tricky, right? Like you always want to be the person having someone else hold the note for you. You never want to be the person holding the note. But the one thing it does do, okay, in like a situation like this, is it's going to align the owner and the old owner and the new owner for the business success. Right?
Yeah.
Which will mean a much smoother and better transition and problem because they're going to want that monthly payment.
Right. Because if I sold, let's say, and I sold it on a contract, and before you know it, all my inventory is gone, it's gone in the toilet, I end up with nothing. Then I have to rebuild it. You do.
And that's why most people
want cash out.
They want the cash out, right? Like that's kind of the point.
Right.
And I think in most situations, that's always the better deal.
Absolutely.
Right. But I think in a situation kind of like this, one person operation, one owner, I would probably push more than like a bigger operation. Right. They're not going to want to.
Right. And you go through an escrow to make sure you get your money back for the van.
Yeah.
So there's no underhanded.
Oh, yeah. You don't want to sign
a third party to the money to go through.
Yes. You don't want to put it on a napkin.
Right.
At Denny's.
Well, you could frame it, but you still want to go to an escrow.
Yeah. Very good. Well, hey, we would love to know what you all think in the comments below. And Dad, thanks for coming on and
no problem.
Doing another one fun.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, do you like doing these, or
Sure.
can we expect you back? Or
Well, yeah, no problem. I think it's good for the locksmith community to understand all this stuff. And the way I think isn't always the best way, but this is always my opinion, and this is the way I do. That's the reason you've made lots of videos showing how we do it.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the big thing with you, I mean, it's a good point, is, and I'm kind of similar. Like when I'm going to do a deal, I want it tilted in my favor.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it really depends on your risk tolerance a lot of times, right? But yeah, definitely when you're hearing the Lockfather tell you his spiel, especially if it's your business that we're going over.
Yeah.
I mean, he's thinking rock bottom prices, right?
Well, I bought probably over 25 businesses out in my years.
Mm-hmm.
And, you already have all the keying equipment. You already have all the pinning kits. Nobody else is offering them anything. So they're going to sell to you a lot of times.
Yeah.
Because I already got everything.
Yeah. And you've also sold one of your locations.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you've been kind of on both sides of that. And did you carry that, or did they pay? Did they cash
No,
out?
they cashed me out.
Okay. Cool.
And then, because I told them you have to live and breathe it.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
And it went out.
And I bought 90% of the stuff back at 10 cents on the dollar.
It's a sad reality.
It is. And it's not that I'm shrewd to, take advantage of anybody, but that's all it's worth to me because I have everything.
Very true. Alrighty. Well, we'll see you next time. Well, I guess this is the end of the video, and it's time for you and I to part ways until next time. But hey, before you go, I really do want to make sure that you know that when you comment on our videos and you include the hashtag lockboss, you automatically get hooked up to win cool stuff that we give away live here on YouTube every Tuesday. So we'd love to have you join us. We'd love to have you comment, and I look forward to reading them soon.